Good morning, Britain. 21 Ukrainian children have arrived in the UK to receive life-saving cancer treatment. He's shifting the responsibility now to individuals in their homes.
The 300
deal with children and their parents who are very troubled by what they've seen, the refugees, and there were plenty of people. I've thought very carefully about it.
Well, everybody has.
Absolutely would want to. I would hope that, and I'm sure that the government will reassure us that the safeguarding concerns are being taken. Vulnerable refugees exploited, mistreated in any way. You would want to make sure that the funding for them was in place. I'm not sure that. Yes.
It's a can of worms.
It is. Meanwhile, our compassion knows no bounds and we want to help in any way we can. Second home to refugees. And somebody who's going to be debating the fact that actually it's the government's responsibility and the government needs to do more because ultimately the buck stops. Would be with his family.
Of course he will.
And I don't have the room.
No.
I've got the finances, but I don't have the room to house a whole family. And you don't want to split up.
No.
Still in Ukraine.
I mean,
pounds a day. I mean, is that going to be per person? Or if your house...
No, it's a household.
It's parties. And I hope, and I'm sure...
And there's a language.
And let's hope that they'll, you know, filter all of this.
Good morning, it's just gone 6 o'clock and welcome to the programme. I don't know about you, are you getting the sense, it's early days, the sense that we're actually getting 21 children have arrived here for cancer treatment? I mean...
There's criticism still of the government because they seem to be where you might...
It's a long commitment, it's you have to frail, and there being no guarantees about who gets on with who. There could be issues there could be tensions arising for the reasons you just described. What would happen if a family for the 6 months? And if not, what would happen to that family? And what would happen to the family?
We're going to speak to the Government Minister, Sajid Javid, about that this morning. I think there is a huge amount of concern whether we would be able to house somebody, and you very seriously. I mean, you know, nobody wants to see £150 a month is going to come without a doubt be DBS checks done on those people who are hosting families. But you know,
we'll be going to a village in Wiltshire where so many people are saying, "Yep, we'll happily take in whoever." Well, just give us the list and we'll tick them off.
And we're going to have a debate this morning with somebody who's opening up there.
In terms of that, there is the big question today. There are so many oligarchs' homes, particularly in the capital here in London, standing empty. Nobody ever lives in them. Should we be handing...
Michael Gove raised the
yes,
possibility
it would certainly be a kind of poetic justice, wouldn't it?
Meanwhile, 21 Ukrainian children who are suffering from cancer have arrived in the UK to receive life-saving care. The children and their immediate family landed last night from Poland and after being assessed will be sent to NHS hospitals across England to continue their treatment.
That's really good news. Meanwhile, from today, British families, as we've just said, can register to house Ukrainian refugees, even if they have no ties to the UK. The Homes for Ukraine's programme's website will be going live in this country just a little...
The government hasn't said yet when that website is going to go live.
Well, you can register.
For offering your home to a refugee. But do get in touch with us this morning to let us know if it's something you're considering. Be interested to know your thoughts. 13 minutes past 6. Coming up, we're going to get an update from the Ukrainian MP who sent her 3 young children away to safety. She took up arms to defend herself and her country. Will catch up with her in just a moment. First, here's Ranveer.
From what you were asking people to ring it about, contact us about earlier, would you take a Ukrainian family in? Many of you say that you would like to look at it very, very, very firmly. But a lot of questions being asked, as we were asking at the top. One of them is about this question of the council tax relief for somebody who has a single
person discount, 25%, yeah.
Well, we can tell you this, that the Eye reports this morning that the government sources said that would be protected, that if you get that single person tax relief on your council tax, you will continue to get it. But we'll check that out through the show this morning.
Because the concern is, you know, as big as people's hearts are, their budgets aren't necessarily big enough. So the £350 a month, is that enough? And if you're going to be financially penalised, lose your 25% council tax discount, that would also put people off.
But, and as you said, is that 350 for 6 people? Establish this through the show with interviews with the government ministers. Richard
was just reporting on the BAFTAs, and last night, Benedict Cumberbatch said he hoped to be part of the scheme to host refugees. He said, we have brothers and sisters who are suffering. Let's have a listen. He spoke to Sky News last night.
Yeah.
Good for you, Benedict. Yeah, keep in touch with your views on it. And we will try and get some more clarity about the financial situation when we speak to the government minister a little bit later on. Now, let's have a look at the weather. Here's Laura.
It's exactly 7:32. American officials say that President Putin has actually asked China for military and economic support for the invasion of Ukraine. And that information adds to growing fears that Russia is about to launch an all-out attack on the Ukrainian capital city, Kyiv.
Well, we're joined now to look at the possible next steps in this war. But we've already seen this morning an attack on an apartment block in Kyiv. What do you think Putin's next steps are? Is it the full-on assault of the capital city?
The current state of play then, obviously Russia's come up against much stiffer Ukrainian resistance than any. What do you think Russia's next lines of attack are going to be in the next week or so?
Yeah, well, again, if you look at their overall plan, which we've got up on the next map, they're pushing hard on the south.
From us is a no-fly zone.
Yeah.
We heard the MP this morning call for it again. President Zelensky's done an address where he's pleading now for a no.
It's really not practical, unfortunately. I mean, it would be tremendously escalatory and dangerous, obviously, to bring NATO forces into direct combat with Russian forces on the ground.
Vasilenko said is that we've already got an escalation of the conflict.
Yeah.
Also said that, you know, with Russia threatening the nuclear sites, possessing two of them, the nuclear option is already there.
And it's been there from the start. I mean, Russia has
Are battlefield nuclear weapons less powerful than intercontinental missiles?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. OK, thank you for now.
Justin Crumb, thank you.
Ben.
We're joined now from Kyiv by Olena Guinness, who is...
Still to come, presenter Martin Roberts.
Justin, you heard what Olena said there.
Yeah.
You know, those who are in danger accuse those saying that...
Yeah, and again, my own feeling is that,
What would your gut be if you were to hear it announced that NATO were to impose a no-fly, like
it's
begging us to do
it is
that?
absolutely terrible. Thank you.
Olena, thank you. You're watching Good Morning Britain on ITV. We'll see you in a moment.